Okay, so it's really a great pleasure to introduce you to the mobile financial services topics. Actually, for us, it's one of our latest service offering within Euromena Consulting. So first, what are we talking about? You may have heard about some mobile payment topics, mobile wallets, mobile banking, mobile savings, e-money, mobile money transfer, and so on, mobile money electronic funds transfer, mobile credit, e-banking, mobile insurance. We have many kind of terminologies, but this is all referring to money, and of course we are using a mobile phone. These are all related to mobile financial services. Let's do a little bit of consulting here. So mobile financial services can be classified into four main categories, and the main driver is really mobile money. I don't have any clear figures on the part of mobile money. I would say maybe it's 80% or more than 80% of the total mobile financial services.
We're more talking about more 90%.
This is the expert. So mobile money is really the main driver, and we will describe this later. But we also have mobile insurance. It's when you use your mobile phone in order to have access to insurance offers. It's also a way to get your insurance policy very easily through your mobile phone. You also have mobile savings. You use your mobile phone in order to save money into a dedicated account. This is really new for people, not only in Africa. And you also have mobile credit services. It's to use your mobile phone in order to get a loan, in order to borrow a certain amount and to reimburse this loan. The principle is very simple. You are a customer, you have a phone, a very basic phone. I'm not talking about the iPhone 3, but a very, very basic phone. You have a phone number, and you just have to go to an agent and to identify yourself, providing your ID card, to create the account, the mobile money account. Then the agent has to activate it. You have to credit it, giving some cash. And next, you have a full range of services that are available for you. The first service is P2P transfer. This is really the main driver of the services provided by mobile money. It represents 73% in value. In volume, it's pretty small, but in value, it's very important. And we also have the capability to take some cash from an ATM or over the counter. We have the capability to pay bills over the counter or directly through the mobile phone in exchange of water supply and electricity, for example. We also have this service called bulk disbursement. Actually, it's just a way to receive your salary directly, not into a bank account, but into your mobile money account. We can use mobile money, mobile accounts to pay retailers, to pay goods, if you have to pay your fuel at the gas station, for example. We also have one main services, which is the international remittance. We mentioned that we have a lot of migration within Africa and within different countries. And international remittance refer to cross-border transfers from one country to another. It's like P2P transfer, but cross-border ones. And next, actually this is in terms of volume, this is the main service, but not really in terms of value. This is the airtime top-up. So what is important to note here is that in all this process, the customer does not have any relation with the bank. It doesn't have any communication or it doesn't have to register to a formal financial institution. But the telecom operators does. Most of the time, they have agreements or maybe they have licenses with the banks.
Let me illustrate this on a very concrete example. You take a country like Congo, 80 million persons, 5 times the size of France,
no infrastructure. I'm in Kinshasa, I'm a worker. I'd like to send money to my grandmother in the village. In all the Congo, you have less bank subsidiaries than in Lebanon. I mean, why mobile financial services today is a game changer in Africa? Because first of all, it's an economy based on cash. The level of people with bank account is below 20% or 15%, and even in some countries is below 4%. So we are talking about a cash economy, people without bank account, but at the same time, telecom operators with large distribution networks where you can recharge your phone even in remote areas. The other example, in Madagascar, public servants, teachers in remote area used to close the school every other month to go to the city, queue in a bank, to be able to withdraw their salaries. And so imagine their salary is 100 USD. They used to pay $5-6 to go to the city, back and forth. The bank used to charge them $5-6 to provide the salary. So actually, in order to withdraw the salary, they used to pay like 10-15% of the entire sum. Today, they have a mobile phone. So they can rather go to the small shop in the village, withdraw the cash, and paying only 2 or 3%, or they can buy with it, pay electricity or some subscription with it. So definitely when you are in Lebanon or in Europe, you cannot imagine the magnitude of change that this new financial inclusion is actually provoking for the unbanked and underbanked populations in Africa. In many African countries, they prefer to get paid by mobile payment because this way it's much safer. You know, because if you have some cash, someone can come, and even the police can, you know, arrest you and take some cash. But on your mobile, it's more secure because if you lose it, as long as a person does not have the code, you can still go to any orange point of sale, and they will regenerate the mobile with the same balance. So actually, for the time being, we're seeing the huge change it's bringing to population, and although the main category that is leading the change is a person-to-person transfer, operators are building the entire ecosystem to allow to this new mobile payment to take place.
The second part of the presentation was regarding the fight between banks and telco, and when we speak about mobile financial services, are we talking about a telco business or a bank business? This part of the world, North America, Europe, Australia, Japan, and Middle East also, they are globally banked. But the rest of the world, and mostly Africa, they don't have any bank accounting to a formal bank institution, but they do have a mobile phone. And this is where the telco operators found a real opportunity to develop into not new markets, because actually they were already they were already operating in those markets in Africa notably. But really what we see today with the emergence and the quick growth of the mobile financial services that are provided by the telco operators is that they are really closing the gap between the banked people and the unbanked population. This is a really new revolution. Today we have more than 250 mobile money services. So the greatest part of these mobile money services has been launched between 2011 and 2014. This is a very young industry, that's why we do not have today all the answers regarding the future and regarding the perspective of this industry. This is very young. Telco operators are still figuring out what they are going to do with this kind of services. the bank as well. They are still figuring out how they will compete with the telco operators. But let's keep in mind this is a very young industry and we have a lot of things to do. So we saw that Africa is really building the future of banking. We have a lot of initiatives in that region. Africa is really bridging the gap between the banked and the unbanked population. Today, around 82% of Africans they have a mobile phone, and around 1/3 have already a mobile wallet. So why Africa is such a success for this industry? Actually, we have a kind of fertile ground in Africa because the economy is mostly based on cash. And actually, why telco operators are succeeding in this industry is that people trust telco operators. They do not trust banks. Orange is definitely a success story in Africa. The Orange Money, this is the mobile financial services for Orange, has been launched in 2008. This is quite young. It has been launched in Ivory Coast. Today they have 14 countries that are using the mobile money solutions. In January 2015, there were 13 million users, and we are talking about 4.5 billion euros of transactions. Euromena is here in Ivory Coast. This is the amazing part. And Euromena is here in Congo. So, okay, mobile money is not only a paradise. We have also some risk and risk related to fraudulent use. The main risk for telco operators today is related to money laundering and terrorist financing. The second part of the fraudulent use is related to social engineering. Social engineering is kind of psychological manipulation. It's very easy in Africa. We have fake agents and they ask simply your PIN saying that they promise a kind of bonus because this is Christmas and well, Orange is giving you some bonus because you are a very good client. So the only thing that you have to do is give me your PIN code and this will be fine. You will get your bonus. Mobile money, we say that is changing the landscape of financial inclusion. Today, mobile money is available in 93 countries through 271 services. At least 19 markets have more mobile money accounts than bank accounts. And 37 markets have 10 times more registered agents than bank branches. And this is resulting into financial inclusion. This is financial inclusion. The unbanked population decreased by 20% between 2011 and 2014. But still, as we mentioned earlier, telco operators, they still have any very interesting challenges. The main one is the interoperability, the capability to perform any operation regardless the operator, even if you can be Orange or MTN. And the cross-border remittance also is one of the main challenges. And notably, cross-border remittance are strictly linked to the regulation ecosystem because the regulation, the laws and rules can vary from one country to another. And today we know that the countries, the governments are looking at the mobile financial services and they are following the innovation. They start to promote financial inclusion. The third topic is to develop partnerships between telco firms and bank, and also telco and online markets. We have two main challenges for the future for this new industry. The main one is women, because until now women have been excluded from the formal financial institutions. It's a very powerful source for development because they are in charge most of the time of the education of their children, and they can start to run small businesses at the village level. And also rural population, because they remain the greatest underserved population for mobile money services. This market is potentially a huge one. So that's it.